So I sent out emails to the Secretary of all the Armed Forces. I'm a retired New York City Police Department sergeant and a proud Vietnam veteran. I lost my son on 9/11. I can't tell you in words what his loss means to me. I would respectfully request if you could put his name on some piece of armament in the Iraq war. You know, we haven't caught bin Laden, but, you know, let's do something here. Who was responsible? Come on, let's hit him. Iraq was responsible. Good, let's go. You say Iraq? Let's go. Let's get in there. Let's kick the hell out of them.
It turns out it's not that hard to get a country to go to war. That even in a country like the United States, where there is freedom of information and multiple media channels, that an administration can just dominate the debate, dominate the argument.
We have this idea that we have lots of information available. There's so much that's not available, and so much of the truth, quote unquote, is obscured by political actors who don't want the world to see what they're doing.
Needless to say, the president is correct.
But what's going on, I'm sorry to say, is a belief that the public doesn't need to know.
New policy is?
I'm working my way over to figuring out how I won't answer that.
Limiting access, limiting information to cover the backsides of those who are in charge of the war is extremely dangerous and cannot and should be accepted. Now, I'm sorry to say that up to and including the moment of this interview, that overwhelmingly it has been accepted.
The Pentagon, for many years now, since Vietnam, has worked extremely hard at shaping news and how the media reports that news. We train people to say certain things in a certain way.
Our defeat and humiliation in South Vietnam.
What they learned from Vietnam, above all, was that they lost the war because they couldn't keep it private from the American public.
After the Vietnam War, the Pentagon began studying how can we make sure there are no more body bags in American living rooms? And we must find a way to no longer allow reporters in the field to actually see death.
You get to the Iraq War when they discover this new, typical bit of Pentagon jargon called embedding.
Gunfire coming from the tops of the building.
We've gotten to know these Marines very well. We do live with them, we eat with them, we travel with them. But I think, remained objective.
The embedded coverage had flags and banners, but no one was actually finding out the truth about the reasons, the rationales for going in.
I have great respect for the media. I mean, our society is a good, solid democracy because of a good, solid media. But I also understand that a lot of times there's opinions mixed in with news.
We won't disagree with that, sir.
And let's just really be honest. Reporters and news organizations need access to power. They need the president. They need the defense secretary. They need these people to speak, to be on camera, to do interviews.
What you have is a miniature version of what you have in totalitarian states. If they produce films about how great the great leader is and how he's getting greater in every way, every day.
There will be a day of reckoning for the Iraqi regime, and that day is drawing near.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Chorale.
Another day is dawning in America. From coast to coast, our spirit shines like blue.
Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing.
So don't stop believing in what we stand for. What we stand for. Oh, don't stop believing in America. Here's to America. We truly are the land of the free. The freedom free. Here's to America. Our spirit will be free. It's in the hearts of people everywhere. The true American dream.
I've only got 9 days left, and I'd rather spend as much time with my friends as possible. Get all my stuff in storage, because there's still a few items I got to put in storage. Except for this TV, a couple weights there, and this right here. This hammer and this Snoopy soap thing I've had since before I can remember. That's just stuff I want to put in storage because of its sentimental value. Never really had that many feelings toward the place, except for the fact that my mom lived in it for a while. But my mom ain't here anymore, so all the feelings I had associated with that place went away along with my mom. There was a point where I almost blamed myself for my mom's passing. I'm handing over the keys. Because she so didn't want me to go into the service, I had spoken with her about it and said, if anything goes wrong, I'm going to have to go into the service. I told her that. If anything goes wrong, if you pass away, I'm going to have to go into the service because as it is, I can't take care of myself normally in the civilian world. What I'm going to miss the most, like just a normal day sitting down with the friends, because that's not what I'm going to get from months on end of the stretch. That I'm going to miss. And this view right here. This view looking outside the window, I've been seeing this since like 1990. I used to hate this view. I think somehow I still do, but it's strange to think I might actually miss it. Probably not. It's just buildings. It's my friends that I'm going to miss.
I have 2 sons, and I will allow none of my children to serve in the United States military. If you join the military now, you are not defending the United States of America. You are helping certain policymakers pursue an imperial agenda.
In February of 2003, 10 million people around the world marched to demonstrate against the war in Iraq, the largest demonstrations in British history, 2 million in London, 400,000 in New York City, 1 million each in Berlin, Madrid, Rome.
On this February day, as this nation stands at the brink of battle, every American on some level must be contemplating the horrors of war. And yet this chamber is for the most part ominously, dreadfully silent. Ah, you can hear a pin drop. Listen. There's no debate. There's no attempt to lay out for the nation the pros and cons of this particular war.
We have a Congress that failed in every way to ask the right questions, to hold the president to account. Our Congress failed us miserably, and that's because many in Congress are beholden to the military-industrial complex.
I would think Eisenhower, must be rolling over in his grave. In some ways, the military-industrial complex may have become so pervasive that it's now invisible. This is about, ideas and influence and what's safe for your career. Being seen in opposition to strong defense policies is a liability. Not just for a politician who wants to run for president, but for an expert who wants to make a name in town, for a journalist who wants to get his or her story on the front page of the paper. In this way, restricting the level of discussion to this rush for war.
Mr. Vice President, do you think the American people are prepared for a long, costly, and bloody battle?
I don't think it's likely to unfold that way, Tim, because I really do believe we will be greeted as liberators.
Now is just starting to see the creepings of the sun coming up. As we approached the city, a low deck of clouds showed up. In the past, that would have been a bad thing, because on the F-117, we dropped laser-guided bombs. So if you can't see your target, you can't drop a bomb on it. This day, I had the enhanced GBU, and now I was kind of happy. They couldn't see me, I couldn't see them, but my bomb could find a spot on the ground.
But still, extraordinarily, people heading towards work. 1 or 2 cars actually racing past me. They know things begin to happen now.
The target area was called Dora Farms. It was a presidential-type palace along the side of a river. I see the river. I know I'm in the right part of the town where I was told that I need to deliver the bomb.
Let's just have a look at the scenes live.
Air raid sirens.
Air raid sirens are being sounded in the Iraqi capital.
Pressed in across the target. I think our time over target was about 0530. And so I let the bombs go. Let them rip.